Hey, this is Kathy Perry, corporate energy expert, and I am back with another powered up conversation for senior living professionals. And so excited today to have Matt Reiners here with us from Ever Sound. I want to get that right, Matt. And besides what he does in his professional life to help senior living professionals and seniors within senior living locations, he's also declares himself almost new girl dad, which I love. So Matt, welcome to the show. Why don't you go ahead and tell people a little bit about what you do and how you serve in the senior living industry?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kathy, for having me on here. And yeah, as you mentioned, being like a new girl dad, I can hear baby girl kind of crying in the background. So hopefully that's not coming through, but she'll be okay. Yeah, so what we do, so we really, our mission is to help improve quality of life for older adults by giving them the gift of hearing. So how we do that today is we have a wireless headphone system that's designed for groups or one-on-one situations to really help people hear what they should be listening to, whether it's in, hearing their bingo numbers or their worship services, or hearing in the family conversations, or like Miss Josie behind me, who celebrated her 100th birthday during the pandemic. Her family couldn't come inside and visit her. You can kind of see them on the outside, but they're able to use Eversound in order to have that happy birthday and that conversation to really celebrate that amazing day. So we work with about 1,200 communities in all 50 states and are really just grateful to help play a small role and help support some of those heroes on the front lines.
Wow, I love that. I love your energy, hearing you talk about it, hearing your stories. It's so important. I have a father who's 89, who's just recently gone through some hearing loss, so totally get it. And, there's so many benefits that come with being able to hear properly, not just the social aspects, but just other health wise. So, but to the point of powered up conversations, I would love, and, Matt, you're in so many communities. I see you going off to conferences and really engaging. What area are you excited about in senior living that's giving you energy? Or where do you see senior living teams energized?
Yeah, so I think it's in a couple, two different buckets really stick out to me. And one is just like, I feel like collaborations at like an all-time high. I think if the pandemic really did anything, it helped people to share their notes with one another, right? It was kind of like this idea of, hey, we might all be in different boats, but we're in the same storm. So let's help each other the best we can to really try and do that. And I feel like people, were quick to let their guard down and kind of share what was working and what wasn't working as we were kind of going through all that together. And granted, we're still going through it today. And I think another thing too is just like the openness that senior living was pretty much forced to innovate and really embrace technology. I think one of our partners had said it best. She was an SVP who basically said the silver lining of the pandemic was that it really allowed their organization to adopt technology that they've been wanting to do for a few years now. So I think if anything, if you look at some of the technology companies, there's collaboration even going amongst them. Because I think the best words I ever heard were, we need to collaborate as tech vendors to automate, to make lives easier in the senior living communities today.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, let's like unpack that collaboration just a little bit. You and I met through an organization that has thrown us together to collaborate, share ideas. That's the Bridge the Gap group. And, I have heard from so many people like you have in senior living that, yeah, let's stop like with all this. This is my secret. This is the way we do it. I actually even heard from one at the resident level saying, hey, this resident doesn't seem like a fit for our residents because he's looking for this, and actually turned him over to somebody else. And that is the heart of caring, that you don't have to hold on to it so tight. So tell me a little bit about who you're collaborating with. Is there anything that's bringing you energy in the way that you serve?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, if you name the resident engagement technology company out there, right? The It's Never Too Late, the In Touch links, there's conversations happening behind the background, like, just to name another few, like Touchdown, Sagely, Rendeavor, you name it. There's all these conversations happening behind the scenes of like, how do we create solutions and opportunities just to make life easier for the communities? Because I think, it was ringing true, right? Like everyone's got their own dashboard, everyone's got their own like technology thing, and life in these communities, right? With staffing being where it is today, we can't realistically expect for everybody to do everything and do it 100% of the time, all the time. So looking for opportunities just to make life easier, whether it's just clicking a button or really trying to like turn things on, and just trying to get everything into like one, umbrella for the most part is really exciting to see in terms of that collaboration. And I think even on the provider side, like your point where they like open the door for a resident who wasn't there, but for the other one, I think, though we're competing with communities right down the street or they're competing against each other, they're still competing with the people living at home, right? That's their ultimate competition. So it's great to see. And I've hosted and moderated a few panels, bringing in even competitors coming in, and to see the ideas just being shared amongst that and giving freely to the audience members has just been really inspiring and heartwarming to see, because I think the majority of people that work in this space are just amazing individuals, right? They're just like, they are leaders that are driven by purpose, they're driven by love, and they're driven by this acceptance of others. So it's really just inspiring to see, and energizes me when I see that collaboration happening, daily.
I love it. I love your energy, and you are so right. Like, it's interesting because I think in senior living, there are so many people who are energized by other people. And, whether that's the extrovert in some of us, introverts surely are energized by other people too, but I see it. And I think it goes back to that caring nature. Like you said, we're in it because we love people and there's this caring. So some of these walls have come down, and probably because of the pandemic, and it has allowed us to kind of do some of that and interacting. Even from my perspective as a trainer and speaker in the space, I know the other speakers in the space. I have a call with someone tomorrow, and it's like, we don't all speak on the same thing or train on the same thing, but it's great that those are walls are down. And then, of course, you also touched on, that you're kind of energized by some of the new technologies. So what do you see coming, or what do you love about how you're helping with technology?
Yeah, so I think when people think of technology, right, they're almost in this like Jetsons mindset, right? That it's going to do everything for us, and it can be like scary at times. But like the way that I've viewed technology, right, it just makes life a little bit easier, right? So whether it's the Alexas in the rooms, and hopefully I just didn't set off my Alexa in the other room. But whether it's just like doing things, I think recently the serve robots in the dining halls have kind of made they've kind of popped up, and more people are using them, especially, people are having to get creative for these staff shortages. So it's, how do we give people the tools to help them be more efficient and more effective and getting more bang for our buck? But I think if you look in terms of like technology, so I'm all about like the experiential side of things. So whether that's, VR with companies like Rendeavor, I know they're doing a really cool things in terms of, what's happening, or companies like Safely You that's using artificial intelligence to detect falls. And like they just raised a bunch of money. So, and they're doing some really awesome things there. I just think, there's all these tools being in place to make one job more effective, right? It's not something like you think of Wall-E, of all the people just kind of rolling around in that Pixar movie, like where they do everything for us. If anything, it's just making life more effective and making our staff more efficient. And just providing that better quality of care and maximizing time with residents rather than doing some of the administration side of things.
Excellent. Yeah. And of course, there's always that one role that no robot, no artificial intelligence is ever going to take over. And that's that role of caring, and, that people in senior living are so good about. And I love elevating that. And I love the way you've elevated it too. Well,
yeah.
Now
I was going to say, one of the things that I've seen with that, because I think if this pandemic too, what also energizes me of just seeing, renewed just kind of importance on that life enrichment activity director role, just because, we saw the data of what isolation can do to people. And I think if anything, it's really put a spotlight on that role within the community and the importance of it and the amazing things that they can do day in and day out. And, some technology can help with that. It will never replace it, but it's really cool to see the meaningful moments that they're able to drive.
Oh, Oh, yeah. And haven't we seen some great ones? Like, absolutely love it. Yeah. And just keeping those people energized in their roles as well, because man, I've done several programs for activities, organizations, and my favorite quote, somebody said, give me a piece of cheese and a Christmas ornament and I can make an activity out of it. She said, but I don't get to do that. I'm not in front of them during this pandemic, and just having more resources for how they can interact, when things, are a little different or they're stretched. So yeah, absolutely. So last question, love to ask it of everyone, and kind of a little off topic, but because I'm all about energizing professionals, how do you love to personally stay energized?
Yeah, it depends on the day, but one thing that I've deprioritized, unfortunately, with the new baby, right, has been my own personal wellness, and I'm trying to get back into that, and just notice even recently when I prioritize that in my life, of just how that makes me just feel so much better. Like, I'll notice 2 to 3 days if I feel like I'm in a funk or not just feeling like my complete self, whether it's going for a run or going to the gym, and really just trying to keep that top in mind. And then one thing where I think my colleague best expressed it to me is just, I miss just engaging with strangers, right? So whether it's at conferences or it's people like you've never met, because we've kind of all been in this little bubble, right? Of whether it's, our family members or on Zoom calls, where it's tough to have that kind of like chit chat happening. So I'm definitely like an introverted extrovert. So I get energy from being alone. I also get energy from being with others. And I just love what's recently done it, especially at these conferences, is meeting strangers, connecting with them on a personal level, and really just trying to set them up for success, whether that's working with us or not working with us. My whole thing is, how do I help someone achieve their own goals? And if it works with us, amazing. If not, no worries, as long as I make that person's life a little bit better.
Man, I love it. I love your energy. Yeah. Thank you for touching on personal wellness. I help people with that, especially emotional wellness. Excuse me. But being energized by those relationships, you hit the nail on the head. When I go to conferences now, people are so excited to be back in person, so excited to make those connections. So you nailed it right on. Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
I'm sorry we didn't get to meet your daughter on this. I was kind of looking forward to that. He kind of teased me that we might.
I can go grab her if you want me to.
Well, just in case she might sleep just a little bit longer. I mean, you're welcome to, but if she's awake.
She is awake. I can definitely hear her crying right now.
Well, I don't want her to cry.
No, once I pick her up, she'll be fine. If you
All
want
right.
me to, we can get it on the recording.
Yeah, go get her.
You can see that I'm wearing gym shorts too. So
all right, I'll cut it up.
And here is Adelaide. Can you say hello? Can you wave?
Hi. I also want to tell viewers that I love that Matt has been elevating the importance of this, what you didn't even call it work-life balance. You called it something else today, and I loved it.
Work-life blend.
Work-life blend. Yes, it's perfect, because it is so important. And, letting people realize we have other things on our plates, not just, serving those in a professional, but serving, those at home and who we love. So thank you so much for sharing her. I was sharing with Matt. I'm a mom of 4, so hi, sweetness. All right, Matt, thank you so much for your time today. I will put in the show notes, in the description, where you can connect with Matt, where you can learn more about Eversound, and really connect with this guy. Follow him, because he is full of energy, and he really brings it when he works with his the teams in senior living. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate you and everything that you bring.